Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Monday, September 15th, 2014 edition of Intelligence Report with shrinkformen.com and avoiceformen.com. I, as per usual, am Dean Esme, Operations Manager at A Voice for Men. With me, as usual, is the astonishing and spectacular and lovely Paul Elam. Say hi, Paul.
You're too kind. Hello, everybody.
And the hairy, grumpy, grouchy, nobody likes her, Dr. T. How are you, Dr. T?
Hello.
Okay, so we had an interesting hangout on Friday night with Keith Beecham of the Manosphere Group on Google. Wish he could join us tonight, but he's not able to. We'll have to have him back soon. Sports fans got some interesting news today that we have to open right up away with. Amazingly, according to ESPN and several other sources, Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, has basically gone ahead and given into what I think everybody here might call extortion, and has agreed to hire Lisa Friel, I hope I'm saying that name right, Lisa Friel, Jane Randel, and Rita Smith to become advisors to the NFL on their policies to, help lead and shape the NFL's policies and programs related to domestic violence and sexual assault. And for those of you outside the United States, the NFL is the National Football League, which is America's #1 sports league, our most popular national sport, as last I checked. And apparently on the wings of the Ray Rice hysteria, and I believe we would all agree that it's hysteria, and calls by the National Organization for Women for Mr. Goodell to resign for not having done enough to punish a man who already was punished under law and already got a 2-game suspension, and whose wife supports him and has asked people to leave them alone. Ray Rice has lost his job now because of what is pretty clearly feminist as well as general white knight stupid public pressure. And now Goodell has given in to the so-called women's movement that doesn't represent most women. What do you think of this, guys?
I think he should resign, but not for the reasons that feminists wanted him to resign last week. I think he just did a huge disservice to the NFL. I think he's a craven coward. What a asshole move. Cowardly.
Cowardly. Okay, Mr. Elam, what is your opinion?
Well, probably some self-disclosure is in order here. One, I am periodic football fan. I grew up a football fan, not interested so much in professional football as I used to be, although I do enjoy a game here and there. My general idea is that 100 million Chinamen couldn't give a fuck, and I think that's probably correct. In the end, what happens in the NFL on a world scale is not that big a deal, but in another way there is a big deal going on. I agree with Tara. Goodell is a wuss and should step down for not protecting his organization and for allowing it to be co-opted. To understand what is going to happen here, and to do that you have to understand first who's involved. You take what's her name, Freeze, the first one on the list that was named to be an advisor. Interesting little tidbit about her. She was the prosecutor in the Dominique Strauss Kahn prosecution, the lead prosecutor for quite some time. And then, interestingly enough, the day before that it was revealed that the person doing the accusation in that case was basically a lying whore who got put up to it, and that everything about that case was false and should never have been prosecuted. A day before that's revealed to the press and in the public, she steps as prosecutor not to be seen anymore. So pretty clear the writing is on the wall. She had a bad case going. Everybody knew it, and she was forced to step down and resign. You go to the other two women in this case, do a little Google on their
Randel,
names.
Rita Smith.
I'm sorry?
Jane Randel and Rita Smith.
Yes, if you go Google their names, you'll find the typical gender feminist suspects, Duluth model advocates that have been involved in the DV industry. And why is this so important? Because this is about to co-opt the NFL. And as far as I'm concerned, this may not be popular with some, but I'm going to say it anyway. Dumb fuck sports fans have it coming to them. They have been sitting by for decades as Super Bowl Sunday myth was perpetuated without speaking up. The sex trafficking fraud around professional football was pushed along, and rather than speaking up about the fraud, most sports fans just sort of bowed their head. They don't give a shit as long as somebody passes for 250 yards. They're happy as they can be. And so they're going to get what's coming to them. What's going to happen in the future, now that we have a DV thought police in the NFL, you're going to start seeing it written into the public service clauses of NFL contracts that pro football players won't just be wearing pink tennis shoes and pink ribbons and pink this and pink that for breast cancer. They will be out there doing PSAs, raising money for people so that they can take that money and go demonize football and other sports with lies. That's what is going on here. Mark my words, in the future, the NFL, thanks to the coward Goodell, will become the mouthpiece for gender feminism in the sports world. Of course, cowards like management at ESPN will follow suit. Anybody raises objection, they'll at least get a suspension, if not fired, like they did Stephen A. Smith. This is part of the feminists know a good opportunity when they see it, and certainly the Ray Rice case, where he was defending himself, without a doubt, it's caught on video. It was a great example for them to start asserting the message that men can not only never hit women, they can never hit women back, and that's the message that's going to be carried through the NFL henceforth, courtesy of a real sleazebag and coward in charge of that organization.
Gee, Paul, tell us how you really feel. I don't know if he's a sleaze, but he's certainly a coward. Where did he? We were talking about this on Friday, but I'll repeat it. A real leader would have said, we took care of this. The law took care of this. We took care of this last year. This matter is over. This matter is closed. This matter is none of your business. And he really should have moved on, because this is extortion money. I know there are people sitting there listening right now saying, oh, you're saying it's all the feminists' fault. I'm a feminist. Nobody pays me to be a feminist. Shut the fuck up. There are people who get paid to be feminists. These three women are part of that little cabal. I don't like the word cabal, but that's what it is, because they're all tied in with the National Organization for Women and the National Women's Lawyers Guild. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. There's a network of these people. They're found in government, they're found in corporations, they're found in education, and they just hit the jackpot, because they've not only just hired these three women who are going to be making some nice money, but they're going to have staff, they're going to have assistants, and they are going to be on a witch hunt for NFL players. And furthermore, yeah, they're going to be roping these players.
They'll manufacture it.
Well, I'm sorry, say what?
I said, and if they can't find any real domestic violence going on, they're going to manufacture it, just like the prosecutor did with Dominique Strauss-Kahn.
Which was the Dominique Strauss-Kahn case again?
He was the head of the International Monetary Fund that was accused of sexual assault by a housekeeper at a New York hotel. Turned out she was a prostitute, and they found more holes in her story than Swiss cheese, but the prosecutor wanted to push on with it. It was totally a political setup. Strauss was running for office in France. It destroyed his political career. He had to resign from the IMF, and it was all proven to be lies.
And this is the prosecutor that resigned, who was pushing that BS case, is one of the women now on this NFL panel, commission, whatever you're calling it.
NFL players, I have a message for you. There is a witch hunt for you. They're looking for you. That's number one. And NFL fans, look forward to getting browbeaten every fucking Sunday about why you shouldn't beat your wife up. Never mind you almost certainly never have. Never mind that you'd probably rather chew your own arm off than hit your woman. You're going to get browbeat with that message. So are your sons. Even though, and it's all going to be based on lies. It's all going to be based on lies. Because the truth about domestic violence is very, very, very little of it consists of the big brutish man beating up on the helpless woman who just says, please don't hurt me. That is actually the rarest type of domestic violence of all, and this is the type that these have just managed to extort this money out of Goodell and the entire NFL league. That's the message they're going to be sending. I only want to argue with Paul about one thing. When you started this intelligence report, Paul, you decided to title it "The Death of the NFL." I see another possibility. I'm almost afraid to put it in the water, but it may be the exact opposite. This, like what we're seeing on the other end of things in Gamergate, this may be another moment where there's sudden pushback. Because here's what I'm thinking. The average NFL player, well, let's just face it, a lot of them have a lot of sex while they're on the road with groupie women. We know this happens. Therefore, we know, and we also know that the average NFL player is more or less a millionaire, right? Maybe the fourth, fifth, sixth round draft choices who are on their first year, maybe not. But really, on average, each and every one of them is a millionaire. Every one of them is now a walking target. But at the same time, every one of them is in a position to sue the league and sue Lisa Friel, Jane Randel, and Rita Smith, I would hope.
Well, you would think so, but let me tell you why I depart with that in a couple of ways. You may be right, but I think one of it is going to depend on the reaction of the NFL Players Union, which I expect to be just as weak and enabling as the NFL Commissioner's Office has been. I don't think the Players Union is going to do a damn thing about it. The other thing is that the NFL itself has shown a history of kowtowing to this stuff. If you look at the Super Bowl Sunday myth, which has been going on for 25 plus years now, where a study was misquoted as saying that on Super Bowl Sunday, domestic violence complaints go through the ceiling. Safe houses still go on alert on Super Bowl Sunday because of the inevitable huge wave tsunami of DV victims that are going to flood their doors at halftime. Well, it turned out the people doing that study said that's bullshit. That's never what we concluded. It was misused by feminists. It's been debunked 100 times over, and yet we still have these alerts going on every Super Bowl. It's still brought up in the press every Super Bowl, and the NFL doesn't say a word one in contradiction to it. They absolutely have no comment. If the NFL had leadership that was going to formulate some sort of backlash to this, they would have done it at least with that. They would have done it with the sex trafficking myth. And let's face it, again, this will offend some. I don't care. Fact of the matter is, your average sports fanatic, I don't mean sports fan, but your average sports fanatic couldn't give a fuck about anything except sticking their little flag in their front yard on game day, cracking open a 12-pack and screaming at the TV during the game. That's all they care about. They don't see anything else. They don't want to see anything else. So if there's going to be a backlash, I think it has to come from the Players Union, and the Players Union has never shown any resolve in the past. So we'll see. You may be right.
Well, the Players Union may wind up closing ranks around its members. I mean, I don't know. The first guy gets sued. And by the way, it's coming. The first guy gets a phony allegation and gets his I'm not saying Ray Rice's suspension was unwarranted. In fact, I would say that if I were the NFL commissioner, the suspension he got, not getting dropped from the team, but the 2-game suspension, probably was an appropriate punishment. You were acting like a child. You embarrassed the league. You got your ass arrested. Clean your shit up. Don't let us see that again. That was appropriate, in my view. It doesn't even matter who started it. Sorry, you embarrassed the league. You don't need to lose your job, and that's where this all started going wrong. But the next Ray Rice, and there will be one, may not have even done anything this serious. I hope he sacks up. I hate using that phrase, but what the hell? It's football. Sack up and sue the minute it happens. Sack up and sue. Sue, sue, sue. The minute it happens. They can't prove it, sue. And do not apologize for doing so either. That's the only thing that's going to stop this, because you've got to ask, will fans do anything? I find myself wondering. In the defense of the average NFL fan, by the way, my Bears beat Niners last night. Woohoo! Sorry, San Francisco. But anyway, they're watching football for one big reason, so they can escape their humdrum lives that are otherwise boring and suck. And they really don't want to talk about politics and difficult things like this. So, part of me wants to lay this on the fans, but another part of me wants to say, no, I understand. They're trying to escape. This is why the people who are being harassed in the video game industry didn't say anything for so long. They just wanted to escape into their games. But guess what, guys? The politics is coming to you. It's going to start affecting your team. It's going to start affecting what you see on game day, and the commercials they throw at you, and the messages they throw at you, and what those players are wearing, and stupid public service announcements that are mostly based on lies. If you don't push back, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a castrated NFL. You really are.
I tell you what else I think you're going to see too in the future. It's the same thing that the DV industry. And you got to keep remembering, this is part of an industry. This isn't a reaction of concern from a group of concerned citizens that want to address a problem within the NFL. This is an industry that makes its bread and butter off of hysteria around these things. And so what we're going to see in the future, mark my word, you're going to see some sort of concerted effort on behalf of the spouses, girlfriends, and dating partners of professional athletes, where they could have channel report things, where they can do so anonymously, where they can do so with protection, where these people will come into their rescue and help them build stories. And so what it's going to be is the building of a false accusation machine. You're going to see people with opportunity. The best advice, and it's sad, it's never going to go anywhere. I mean, the average NFL player would laugh in my face and might want to smack me around a little bit. But if I were you, I'd save my money and steer clear of women until I was out of the limelight. Because right now what they're going to do is build an apparatus where they can come take what you have. And
or if you can't stay away from women, only use professional women who know the deal.
Strontium X nitrate here has a nice comment. If they cannot find a domestic violence case, they will manufacture it. So true, so routine, so standard method of operation, so sad. Isn't that exactly right, Dr. T?
Well, yes, because I'm the one who said that if they can't find a domestic violence case, they'll manufacture it. So yes, I do agree with myself.
I saw the quotation marks he put on there. He gave you credit even if Dean wouldn't.
Well, she's just a woman. We can't take her too seriously, right?
The quotation marks are on there, but I don't know that registered for you, Dean. But no, it is true, because look, these three women, these three women are going to have to justify their salaries, just like the sexual assault prevention departments on college universities need to justify their salaries and their endowments and their grants. And if they don't have a lot of sexual assaults going on, then gosh, maybe there isn't a need for, you know, a dozen feminists to have $60,000 to $70,000 a year, however much they earn jobs. So what do? We now have rape culture hysteria on campus. And the money that they spend, the programs that they spend their money on are laughable. Posters saying "Tell men not to rape." I mean,
just tell football players not to rape.
Tell football players not to smack their bitches up. You know, it's so predictable. It's so predictable. They have done this in education. They saw a great big juicy turkey in a helmet for the plucking. And the Ray Rice incident gave them an opportunity to go in, sink their fangs in, and start sucking the money out, and also to start pushing their agenda. And look, they're going to go for mainstream, middle of the road America. Okay, the NFL is people from all walks of life watch it. They're now going to have a national audience where they can spew their bullshit to guys in the fraternity house, guys in the trailer park.
People don't want to hear it when I say it, but it is about the cash. You guys sitting out there listening, going, well, my girlfriend's a feminist.
It's also about the indoctrination, because the more people they can indoctrinate, the more cash they can get.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And you cannot forget that. And while we keep saying domestic violence, I'm not going to let it go. Sexual assault. They are going to create a climate of so-called sexual assault around football players.
It's already started. If you go in and look at the ESPN story and the quotes from Roger Goodell, he did not say they were coming in to address the issue of domestic violence. He said, and I'm quoting, violence and sexual assault. Mm-hmm. It's already scripted into the plan. So you're going to be looking at rape culture with a pigskin within a year.
And while I have no doubt that once in a while there's been some player juiced up after a game who's gone too far and gotten too rough and too violent, pretty much every one of those players now, regardless of race, background, or what position they're playing, is a walking rape accusation target.
They've always been targets since they started getting serious bank. I mean, attention whores who want vicarious celebrity, gold diggers.
But now the league is going to be
a baby.
Yes, but now the league is going to be actively helping go after them. Mm-hmm. They are going to be. You know what Goodell is going to want, and what the league is going to want, is at least 3 or 4 good public lynchings. So this is my prediction. They're going to want 2 or 3 good public lynchings, and yeah, I'm using that word on purpose. They're going to want 2 or 3 at least good public lynchings, maybe before the season is out, certainly next season, so they can prove they're doing something about the problem, regardless of the merits of the allegation. So not only are these players targets now, they're going to be double targeted because the league's not going to have their back. The league is going to be looking to find them and get them, regardless of the merits of the case. It's what's going to happen. I'm going on record now.
You're going to see the NFL is going to have to show how effective they are in rooting out the evil in their own organization, and there will be one sacrificial lamb.
Brought in the evil.
But I will bet that none of the sacrificial lambs have $50 million contracts. They will be guys making the $365,000 league minimum to a T.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have an interesting comment or question here from IchBenX saying regarding Ray Rice, I don't mean to be that guy, but what about the footage where it looked like he was spitting on her before each slap? It really does look like he was spitting on her. So if that was true, then she wasn't slapping him for no reason. Okay, let's take this apart. We went over it on Friday. I would suggest looking that over, going back and looking at the hangout we did on this, the intelligence report we did on Friday night. Number one, Dr. Tia and Paul will back me up. The overwhelming majority of studies on domestic violence have shown the same thing. Domestic violence is usually mutual, consensual, 2 people fighting. And what you saw there was 2 people fighting. For number two, you don't actually know who started it. You see people walk on camera who are clearly already fighting. What do you really? Go back and watch that, and you do see him make a spitting motion right at the beginning before they get in the elevator. Are you under the impression that that fell out of the sky and he just got an urge to spit at her? Or were they already arguing? Had she already hit him? You don't know. Number three, does it matter who started it? They were both acting like children, and they were both fighting. Is Mrs. Rice an adult or isn't she? She owned it. She confessed that she had spit at him. She confessed that she had assaulted him. She admitted she was an equal part of it, and she was arrested too. All right? So it really doesn't even matter who started with the spitting or the slapping or the pushing or the name calling, you cunt, you bitch, you dick, you bastard, you asshole, fuck you. Does it matter who started it? Why does it matter?
I think what's important to point out here too, one, and I think it's fair that he asked the question. Okay, he's.
You're right. You're right. I'm sounding self-righteous, but it is a fair question.
In the video, it needs to be asked. But again, one thing I'll point out is that there is a lot of times that a man will spit at a woman. Why? Because he can't hit her. That is a way of reacting to something without becoming physically violent. Doesn't make it right, but it is what happens sometimes. The other thing is, just like Dean pointed out, do you think that he spit on her without a reason? Do you think they were just getting in the elevator and he said, I think I'll spit on her because I don't have anything better to do? No. While the question is fair, it's fair to bring up what this was a case of an escalating argument that got out of hand on both sides, with both people acting like children. And the moment you try to isolate it to one act that was shown on video, I think you failed in understanding the big picture of how these situations develop. So I go with Dean on this: mutual combat, plain and simple.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I sounded strident. I wasn't mad at you, Itchman-X, but people need to think about this. This woman is an adult. Let's pretend even that was an unmotivated, out of the blue, he started it. Well, he started it. What does an adult do? You turn and you say, you don't ever do that again, and you walk the fuck away. That's what you do. Because that's what an adult in that situation would do. They were out in public. It's not like she had nowhere to go. So even if you accept the notion, which I find questionable in the first place, that he started it, yeah, well, you know what? She also spit at him. She admitted that. She was slapping at him. She admitted that. And she fucking charged him. Now, should he have hit her? That's not the point. This was two adults fighting. This was two adults. I'm not even going to say acting like teenagers. They were acting like they were 8 years old. And I have a suspicion, if they're listening, both of them are probably going, he's right. Because that's what they were fucking doing. They were both acting like fourth graders. That's what they were doing. One of them just happens to be, I don't know how big he is, 6 foot something, 200+ pound, fourth grader, but that's how they were acting. You think that's a fair assessment, Tara?
Yeah, I mean, that's kids. When kids don't have words and good problem-solving skills, they hit.
Newsflash, right?
I want that toy. No, you can't have it. I'm going to take it. Boom.
You're stupid. No, you're stupid. Stop playing with my toy.
The solution naturally to 4-year-olds that can't control themselves and don't have problem-solving skills is to bring feminists into managing the National Football League and their domestic violence policy.
Mentally unstable children to help the children who don't have good problem-solving skills. Genius.
Yes, and let's let the child who was furthering a patently false prosecution against an innocent man be in charge of investigating domestic violence issues within the NFL. Are you fucking kidding me?
If you think that bitch didn't have any qualms about bringing down the head of the IMF, do you think she's going to have any qualms about going after men? I'm sure she already views with utter contempt and hate because they are so overtly masculine and big and are in jock culture and have lots of beautiful women vying for their attention. Oh my God, these three women have got to be like salivating like a chubby kid in the chocolate shop right now. Right, chocolate shop, that could be the candy shop. That was a Freudian slip. I didn't mean it the way it
sounded. You're a bad woman. You're a bad person.
Somebody had
We're going to have to suspend you for 2 games.
No, I want her fired.
Can you fire me? I don't get paid. Cool. See you later. Have fun.
I don't know. Let's call in Anita Sarkeesian to do an investigation.
God, this, my friends, is misogyny.
No, but in all seriousness, these three man-hating assholes have just been given carte blanche to run amok, and I personally, I have nothing against football. I personally don't watch it of my own accord. It's a good excuse to go open a 12-pack with friends, as Paul said from time to time. But I just see it as yet another system, another field, another organization where feminism is going to come in, take over, and destroy it. So NFL fans, enjoy the game as it is while it lasts. Because pretty soon, feminists will say stuff like, it's not even really about the game. It's about respecting women.
It's how it's affecting women. That's right. It's not.
Cowboys lose. Women most affected.
That's right. That's right. We're joking, but guys, in all seriousness, this is going to happen, and I'm also going to argue a little bit with Paul. Now, his suggestion was, in the world scheme of things, the NFL doesn't matter that much. Well, you're right, but the fact of the matter is, funding's been getting tight. One of the little-known facts about the Obama administration is, while they shamelessly, just like Republican presidents before him, reauthorized VAWA funding has been going down. Feminist gender studies departments have been losing money, so these people are looking for money in private industry now. NFL, very big, juicy, I'm pretty sure it's a multi-billion-dollar industry now. Who's next? Well, if they succeed with their foothold here, come on, Major League Baseball. Come on, NBA. They're already making noises about the mixed martial arts community. All the big sports leagues are going to be facing something like this within a couple of years, and if it succeeds, it's going to leave the United States. They're coming for you, Europe. You watch. Football in Europe, not the same sport, but they'll be coming for your leagues. They'll be coming to your teams because there's money. It'll be capitalism in action for feminism, selling a fake, phony victim narrative. And watch it. It is going to go worldwide. That's my next prediction too.
Mark my words. Just because she's a Manchester United fan doesn't mean she was asking for it. That poster.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, exactly. You betcha. You're goddamn right. Watch it affect the World Cup. You just watch. It'll be coming. We had the phony baloney. I don't remember all the details of the supposed sexual slavery going on in professional sports. That was mostly ginned up nonsense, wasn't it?
It was all ginned up nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Every last bit of it.
And so this is going to be more ginned up nonsense. I just got a vision of my beloved Chicago Bears doing a walk a mile in her shoes, and it's not a pretty image in my head. And if you guys don't know what that is, you might be surprised. Of course, maybe the union will draw the line at that. I don't know. But anything's possible.
I think that would be a great way to humiliate all of the players en masse. And October is Domestic Violence Month, so you can expect that to be getting beaten to death, pun intended, on the by the sports commentators and PSAs during the commercials, and can't wait.
I'll tell you, I think part of this is although I am not suggesting direct collusion, but we know that love him or hate him or don't care about him or whatever, Barack Obama is in the last 2 years of his presidency and is a lame duck. And most presidents in his position 6 years into office are starting to think about leaving a legacy. Now, he got into office in part by strongly courting the feminists and by doing what he could to mollify feminists. Now he has a perfect opportunity with this Ray Rice saga and with what's going on in the NFL. Now, I'm not suggesting direct conclusion. I am suggesting that the president watches sports just like most men in America do and said, I think this is something I can capitalize on. Because news is that the president and Vice President Biden are going to be coming out this week to do something about, quote unquote, do something about the horrible problem of sexual assault on the nation's campuses. And domestic violence, and explicitly, and I do mean explicitly, spreading a message that it is men's responsibility to stand up to end domestic violence and sexual assault on women, that it is men's responsibility to do that. And regulars to this show should know the scoop, but in case you're not red pill, you are being fed a bunch of lies about what's going on in terms of both sexual assault and domestic violence, supposedly perpetrated by men, almost exclusively onto women. And the president apparently looks to me like he's looking to make this his legacy. How ironic is that Barack Obama may be trying to leave us his legacy, lynching college students for false allegations.
And denying them of the same privileges and advantages that he has benefited from. You know, why not just ban all male college students? Just don't even accept them anymore.
I'm telling you. I mean, really. Why
really, that's the only way to truly make all the women personnel, faculty, admin, and students safe. And get rid of all of the male professors too. Just university higher learning for women only.
Dude, I talk fairly regularly with college professors. No, really, I do. And a number of, more than one has told me that the male ones anyway have said they will never be alone in a room with a female student under any circumstances now because they know what can happen to them. Nope. And it's not just about appearances, it's about loss of career because they know the possibility of one false allegation can ruin them. Even the hint of it can ruin them. And that's all there is to it. I wanted to look something up on the internet really quick because I lost the story I was going to mention about it, but yeah, no, this is what the president and the vice president are going to be doing, a big push this week to hold men accountable for domestic violence and sexual assault. I don't even know where to begin with that. And some of you may be sitting there, oh, you're just a Republican. No, I voted for Obama, the douchebag. I voted for him. What the fuck does that matter? What he's doing here is wrong. Okay? What he's doing here is wrong. I don't want to hear any arguments from anybody that, well, then why did you vote for him? None of your business. Point is, this isn't a partisan issue. What the president and the vice president are doing here is hideous, and it's wrong.
You know, there's always, every time we bring up somebody like Obama or whatever, the people from the left say you must be a right-winger, and people from the right say, see there, I told you this was a left-right issue. This stuff comes from the left. You know, you can both suck it for all I care. This is a non-partisan issue, has nothing to do with politics because what Obama and Biden are up to will be enhanced and furthered by both sides of the political spectrum. You can just bet your ass on it. And what they're going to do, they didn't give out the details on it, but I will tell you exactly what's going to happen, at least in terms that will translate as you discover what the plan is. Whatever it is they're doing will be to create a climate of fear and persecution on campus. It will create a climate of fear of young men and some sort of avenue to persecute them and to burden them with responsibility for criminals everywhere. I mean, there's not too many places for this lame schmuck to go. This has been the plan all along. It's what Dear Colleague was about. It's what all these anonymous reporting forums are about. This whole atmosphere of 1 in 5 women, bullshit, not 1 in 5 women, big time lie. It is about control and power and, once again, money. They're starting to run dry on it, and now they need a sort of sexual 9/11 to generate draconian policies under, and that's exactly what they're doing. So whatever these asshats come up with next week in terms of a policy, you can bet it's going to be finger pointing at men. It's going to be lying about what's happening on campuses. It's going to be geared toward creating hysteria about things that aren't happening on campus, and there's going to be some money behind it one way or another.
Let me read this to you, and then I want to hear what Dr. T has to say. This is quoting from ABC News. President Barack Obama and Vice President Joe Biden plan to announce a campus sexual assault awareness campaign from the White House Friday, with a special focus on engaging men in the fight against a largely hidden problem. Anyway. White House officials say the campaign, called It's On Us, will challenge everyone on campuses to see sexual assault as their personal responsibility to prevent, but will particularly target male students. Presidential aides point to research showing that men are often reluctant, or women, showing that men are often Presidential aides point to research shows that men are often reluctant to speak out against violence against women because they believe other men accept it, and that Obama and Biden hope to set an example by speaking out to help change social norms.
You're so brave.
It's on us. It's on us. It's on us.
We got this.
Okay.
You don't have to take responsibility for any of your choices. It's on us.
It's on us. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, they're being honest. They're putting everything on the male students.
They're putting everything on us. Yeah, it's all on us. It's all on me, really.
And go home with the guy in chem lab who you might not have given the time of day to because you were wearing some serious beer goggles. Hey, it's on us. You can call it rape, save your reputation. Why not? I
mean, okay, I will go ahead and say it for people who need to hear it. This is actually abuse of women, too. I mean, they kind of get what's coming to them when they let feminists get away with this shit. But at bare minimum, it's going to leave any college women who take this shit seriously in a state of perpetual fear.
Any college women who take this seriously should probably be receiving counseling center services. Speaking of which,
you think the average 19-year-old girl is not easily frightened? I hate to sound sexist, but yes, she is. Sorry.
I'm trying to think of my 19-year-old self, and if I was getting this kind of messaging, I'd be like, this is silly. It's just silliness. I think easily manipulated. Yes, I think 19-year-olds are probably more easily manipulated than others, than say more mature populations. But I was speaking with a client, so I haven't read this yet, but he said that one of the things being considered with the bill that the state of California just passed, what is it called? The consent?
Oh, God, I don't know. It's something positive consent. Yes means yes. Everything else means no.
Yes means yes. Bill. That one of the policies that they're talking about implementing in California college and uni campuses is that when two students are considering having sex, they should make an appointment with one of the school counselors to negotiate the terms of their liaison.
That suddenly doesn't sound so crazy when you consider the potential ramifications for men who have spontaneous sex with girls on campus. I mean, of course, it is stupid, but...
Well, true enough. On the other hand, you know, what would that counseling session be like with a feminist inclined counselor? Well, now, Joe, Veronica is consenting to have sex, but if she decides at any point after you've had sex that she really didn't want it, it's still rape. I mean, what the fuck is that session?
The problem right there is what I'm immediately thinking.
If I had two college students come into my uni counseling center office and say, well, we're thinking about having sex and we need to negotiate it, I'd tell them, if you have to use my services to negotiate having sex, you probably shouldn't be having sex. This is insanity.
Well, they may need a predetermined, an agreed-upon number of thrusts, which, if he exceeds that, then we could have a rape situation.
I'm saying, you know, you got to have a checklist, okay? Oral.
Little nipple play, but not too pinching at this level of intense. I mean, at that point, like, if any desire I had would have been long extinguished.
Yeah, you better learn to say because 1, 2, 3 instead of oh my God.
Sexy. Stupid is not sexy, and this is just stupid.
It's stupid, and it's still not even going to work because
it's not going to work.
Because as you just said, he doesn't, but she does. I mean, they're going to say it. There's this thing in law they call de facto and de jure. The law and the policies may be written gender neutral, but you know they will not be enforced gender neutral. De facto, they will be on the woman. The woman can change her mind at any moment and call it rape, and that moment could be the next fucking day. That could be the next fucking week. So even if you get this absurd...
Change your mind. It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. So even if yes meant yesterday, it could mean no next week.
You think we're joking? People think we're joking. They think we're exaggerating. This shit has already happened to guys, and it's now going to get worse. My advice, and I'm serious, number one, date off campus if you're going to date at all. But number two, guys, I'm not even kidding. Don't go. Do not college. If you go to an online university. You can't escape into all male universities anymore. Those aren't allowed. All female universities are still allowed, but all male universities are generally not allowed, last I checked. You're not safe on campus, young men. You just aren't. If you're in the presence of a female. You can get a rape allegation even if you didn't have sex with her. Doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. Why would you put yourself in that danger? Parents, why would you put your sons in that danger? And I'm serious. Why would you? Go to college online. Go to trade school. Do something else. So many degrees are worthless now anyway. Why go?
I hope some of the fathers out there are listening to what you're saying, Dean, because
yes.
At this point, there's no way in hell that I would turn a son loose on an average American campus or Canadian campus, because these places are just minefields.
Yes. Yes. We got an interesting note here from Steve Brule of Studio Brule saying the consent negotiation was already implemented last year at UBC in Canada. I believe that's the University of British Columbia. There's a consent kit. There's a link to it. Oh, fuck me. All right.
What's in a consent kit? Do we have time? Yeah, I need that link. I got to say it. What's in a consent kit?
Here it is. Here it is. Vancouver.24hours.ca/2014/03/19. There it'll be in the comments after this is over. Thank you, Steve Brule, for bringing us this shitty news.
That might be worth another show. You know, I find it amazing that the human species managed to survive for 3 to 4 million years without gender ideologues governing our sexual interactions. Just how on earth did we make it before these guys came along?
Well, you know perfectly well the truth, Paul. Before feminism, men just routinely raped women. Women were property. Women were property, and men just raped women.
Kept all women living in a state of fear.
Huh?
Well, that's what Susan Brown Miller said.
Oh,
that rape was the instrument by which all men kept all women living in a state of fear.
that's right. Until feminism came along, women were nothing but property, and any man could do that at any time, unless it was another man's woman. That was the only way. Otherwise, rape was just normal before feminism came along to save us from that. And if you believe that, you are a gullible idiot or a brainwashed idiot. But that's what I've actually talked to people.
You guys want to hear what's in a consent kit?
Yes, I do.
I don't know,
Yes,
do
I
we?
do. I mean, I don't, but I do. It's going to be painful. Hit me with it.
Bright pink boxes created by the Women's Center at Simon Fraser University are being distributed to spread the word about sexual consent and counter what is often termed rape culture. Louise Mapleston, who represents the center, said the initiative is about making sure that when people have sex, they are feeling comfortable and they're 100% excited. The package contains a condom, lubricant, and a sexual Mad Lib, in which students can fill in the blanks of what form of sexual interaction they would like to engage in. Feminism, because you just can't make this shit up.
Dude,
Fuck!
there were
Before
comedy
we get it on, let's play sexual Mad Lib so we can make sure that everything's okay.
You know, I can see like a couple that's been together for a few years, you know, trying to do something humorous and using something like that. But dude, this is a comedy skit from Kids in the Hall in the 1990s.
This is what fucking feminists are spending the grant money on. This is what this shit that they're gonna spend the money on that they jack out of the NFL. Okay?
Yep.
And I'm repeating it again. It is not going to stop with the NFL. If it succeeds in the NFL, they're going to go into expansion mode, baby. That's exactly what they're going to do.
They were serious about wanting to prevent rape. First of all, they wouldn't use words like the term rapey. Second of all, they'd be educating women on safety precautions they can take.
Victim blaming.
Oh, fuck them. To lessen their chances of becoming targets of sexual predators. Like, don't get passed out drunk in a strange place. Don't accept rides from strangers. Don't walk in a bad neighborhood at 2 o'clock in the morning with your boobs hanging out, stumbling in your high heels. You know, stuff like that.
And this is all
that's victim blaming. Seriously, if I were to run a program to do an educational orientation for college female freshmen on that, I would get fired and be accused. Well, I've already been accused of being a victim blamer and a rape apologist, so what the hell. But that is what they should be teaching students, female students, in order to make them more safe. But no, no, no. They're handing out bright pink boxes with condoms and sexual Mad Lib games.
And this week
Feeling safer, Cupcake?
This week we're going to be running a pretty important article on the rate of female upon male sexual assault. And of course that's not something anybody even wants to talk about, but that shit happens too. College guys find themselves waking up with some girl humping him, and by the way, he had an erection, so he must have wanted it, is not an answer. If we're really going to discuss this like adults, we ought to be discussing it like adults for both sexes. But that's probably worth an entire hangout of its own. We have been at this for 55 minutes, and I don't even know what to say, except I'm going to repeat what I said. If it works in the NFL, watch out. Every other major league sport, they're coming for your league too. And it won't just stop in the United States. Paul, did you have any closing thoughts for us?
Well, really, I just wanted to sort of offer my rape prevention tip of the week. And also, this one sort of doubles because this is a great way to get home from the bar shit-faced drunk without getting a DUI for women. What you do is once you've been in the bar and you've had 10 or 12 shots or whatever it is you're drinking and you're nice and fuzzy-headed and really lit up good and you're ready to go home, just go out onto the street corner, unbutton your blouse, make sure you're not wearing a bra, hang your boobs out, and stick your thumb out for a ride. And ladies, nothing will happen to you because it's on us. That's my tip for the week.
Dr. T, anything else you want to add?
No, I think I covered it.
All right. If you're in an abusive relationship with a woman or think you might be, please be sure to check out shrinkformen.com. That's shrink, the number 4, men.com, where you will find forums, articles, and the ability to hire one-on-one coaching sessions with Dr. T to help you figure out how to get out of or recover from this abusive relationship.
Maybe I'll have a whole NFL practice going next year.
Oh, my God. Oh my God! Ambulance chaser psychologist. Follow the teams around with your card. Holy shit! It's going to be a growth industry.
My rates are going way up.
And if we're laughing about very serious things,
I wouldn't charge them more.
And if you want to know more about these issues in general and what's going on, please check us out on voiceformen.com. See you at our next intelligence report. And by the way, check out Going Mental on probably Wednesday. See y'all later.
Please give us a sub to this channel. We'd like to have you come back and see more shows. Thanks. Bye-bye.